Hello and welcome, I'm Dante, this is Lomana, and this is the first video into the lore of Destiny as we look forward to the launch of Destiny 2 later this year. These will be becoming a weekly feature up to and beyond the release of Destiny 2. So we hope that you'll join us as we dig deeper into the surprisingly deep universe that Bungie has created. We're going to start by looking into what gives the Guardians and their enemies seemingly magical powers, able to channel from either the light or the darkness. It wasn't until Earth discovered a large orb flying through our solar system that we would start to understand what cosmic powers truly existed, and just how little we really understood. When trying to comprehend what exactly light is, we need to examine how we first encountered it and how we were eventually bestowed with its power as Guardians, changing how we would view life and death forever. The Traveller, the most prolific source of light that can be drawn upon even after the Great Machine was defeated, enough to create and power every ghost and their Guardians, as well as assist in the rapid growth of technology. However, this is most likely the knowledge of the Traveller than light itself, a power that flows through everything and everyone. The Traveller unlocked the potential to tap into it, teaching those able to channel the light how to bend it to their will. These would become Guardians, able to harness the power of the light with their ghosts acting as protectors. These ghosts have not always existed though. They are the last breath of the Traveller, searching the dead that scatter the earth, searching for those that can harness the Traveller's light. But once combined, a Guardian and their ghost become immortal, or at least to most wounds that would fell a normal person. With access to the light, a ghost can pull their Guardian back from the brink of death. But if access to a Guardian's ghost or their light breaks, this failsafe is lost. Which leads us to that elusive question: what is the light? The light is one side of a coin, the other being the darkness. The simplest way to think of the light is merely as a force. It can't be seen, but it can be felt. It flows through everyone, and there are a few individuals or even machines that can channel its flow. Clearly, someone was a fan of the Force, at least conceptually. Those able to tap into the light can use it to power many great feats, and as Destiny 2 approaches, it's clear there are many more yet to be discovered. These range from the power to give life, as we see each time a ghost resurrects their Guardian, and to the other extreme, to be harnessed into a weapon, which is where all the subclasses stem from. Golden guns, nova bombs to burning hammers. The way in which the light manifests is limited only by our imaginations, or technically our subclasses. All light that currently exists is a gift of the Traveller. That until now has protected the city with its shadow, stemming the darkness as the solar system falls to the embrace of darkness. So what happens when this source is cut off? All Guardians take their powers from the Traveller, and to some degree they themselves act as small wells of the light, if only a finite amount. Even those that touch the void, draw from Sol or channel the Arcstorm rely on the light to harness their powers, as shown by the Grimoire cards for the subclasses earned during the Taken King, such as the Night Stalker's Trial. This weapon is something special, the way it twists your light. It is your light that twists, not a new source of light itself. So when the only source of light goes dark, ghosts will fall, Guardians become vulnerable, darkness prevails. And yet we know this isn't the end. We as Guardians will strive on and seek out the light, if not for ourselves but for the future of humankind. And we have one theory for where we may be headed to seek this out. As you can see from the Traveller, it's no longer a perfect sphere, even if it has been healing. The bottom has been missing for as long as we can remember, and I think we've finally seen where this landed: Europe. Which just happens to be where we're headed as our new zone on Earth. And this giant structure doesn't seem to be architecture from any of the races or factions, rather a giant segment of the Traveller. If the Traveller is merely our well, then it seems we've just found a new one. As Newton once taught us, for each action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. That's a simple way of explaining what the darkness is. For every source of light, there is a source of darkness. With the Traveller representing the light, the worm gods take the mantle of the darkness, able to apply incredibly similar boons to its followers: immortality, destructive powers, and even the ability to dominate life, creating the Taken. Where they differ is on their source and more importantly their intent. Little is known of the darkness itself, but its source, or at least its embodiment, leads us to the worm gods, from a world known as the Fundament, a gas giant so large that it gained several continents from other planets crashing into it. Along with its 52 moons, it was home to a vast variety of species that formed a layered existence, with protohives on the outer layer, a Leviathan, and at the centre, the worm gods. The power of these gods would become apparent when the deepest depths of the Fundament was visited by three sisters, Zero, Zathona, and Urash, heirs of the Osmian throne. After piercing through the Fundament, through the Leviathan, to its core, they met the five worm gods: Yul, the Honest Worm, along with Aya, Zol, Ur and Akka, the Virtuous Worms. These gods told the sisters of their past, spent trapped within the fundament and guarded by the Leviathan, that they were the ones that summoned the diversity of life to the fundament, and of a force they called the Deep, from which their powers flowed, that they were enemies of the sky, referencing the Leviathan and the Traveller, for they held opposing views to existence. The sky seeks cooperation, making them weak, while the Deep thrives on competition. The struggle of existence gives it purpose, strength, and power. As the sisters had hoped, the worms offered a bargain to bestow their powers, which as history showed was more than enough to take back their kingdom and catapult them into the stars. The only cost for such power was for the sisters to obey the will of the gods, to never abandon satisfying their curiosity, testing their strength and using their cunning. The sisters happily accepted and took larvae of the gods into their bodies, eventually birthing Oryx, Savathun and Xivu Arath. Led by Arix, the sisters took the gift of the larvae back to the rest of their species, to spread the good news in the Osmian court, the hydrogen fountain, in the bone plaza and the star surgery. The hive would then rise. Any that rejected this gift were to be killed as an example of their new power. Arix would eventually kill the sisters to take their power. For in the deep or the darkness, power is taken, not given. It is this mindset that would eventually take him back to Akka, the god of secrets. For the gift of the worm gods was a lie. Akka gave a gift that should have been taken. Arix used the knowledge gained from killing his sisters to slay Akka, pulling the power to tap into the deep from his body. This is how he learnt the power to tap into the deep, to take life and bend it to his will. He became Oryx, the Taken King. The worm gods were pleased, for they could not merely be slain, for they are of the deep, as we learnt from the Book of Sorrows, at the end of the King of Shapes. However, as the power of the deep grows, so does its cost. Remember the promise the sisters made when they first received it? You can never abandon satisfying curiosity, testing your strength and using your cunning. This is what has led to the structure of the hive. Each kill, each sacrifice acting as a tribute up the chain of command. You can be sure we'll cover the hive in more detail in time. So as you can see, the darkness is not a gift, but a trial. If guardians are to tap into this power, they must take it from those that already have it. For praise of the deep is earned, and it needs to be constantly fed, or it will be lost either back to the deep, or someone willing to take it from you. As guardians we have rejected the ways of the darkness as we slayed Oryx. His power was ours to take, but as beings of light we left it. Although these two powers are opposite, they both bestow a universal power, power causality. A large topic all by itself, but important to note as it's possibly the most powerful gift either power can give and in essence leads to the title of the game. Wielding either power grants the being power over their destiny, to change their own fate and to live outside the pattern of the Vex. Without it, we would have no chance to keep them at bay. Thanks for watching our first dive into the universe of Destiny, and we would really like to hear your feedback. What do you think of our sources of power, and how do you think we'll get them back? Will we tap into the darkness to fight the Cabal, or remain true to the light? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, click the bell to be notified of new releases, and until next time, I've been Dante, thanks for watching.